Don't hitchhike in Santa Barbara. Not a good idea. Tell us the story of your first day, at the end of your first day of shooting on Halloween.
Yes. So Halloween was this little movie, auditioned many times, and finally landed the role. Very quickly, we were shooting, very quick shoot. We were in South Pasadena, where that scary house was. And, it was a full day's work, and it was the girls on the street and walking with the little boy and putting the key under the mat. And it was singing to herself as she walked away. And it was a, good first full day. And I went home and, was getting ready for the next day. And that evening, the phone rang at my house. And my roommate, Tina Cassidy, who was a hairdresser at the time, said, Jamie, John Carpenter's on the phone. Now, for those who aren't actors in the room, I think your fear is always that you're going to be fired. It's just your nature, is that it's an art form that's a strange, unquantifiable art form, and therefore, you're just nervous. And I remember it was like 15 feet to the phone, and I could not walk slower. I just didn't want to pick up that phone because I was terrified. He was going to say, I'm sorry, Jamie, it's not going to work out. I looked at whatever. And I picked up the phone. I was like, hello? And John on the other end of the phone said, hey, darling, it's John. I just wanted to say you were fantastic today, and I am so happy that you're in the movie. I'm so happy that we're doing this together. It's going to be great, and you were just great. Now, I'm, as I said, don't clap, 64 years old. I've made a lot of movies. That is the only time in my entire life as an actor that a director has called me after the first day to say that the work was good, that they were excited. First job, John Carpenter, great story, great man. And the other thing I need to let you know is the reason I'm in the fog is one reason only. So Halloween, made 1978, for nothing, comes out, grows, starts to, gather steam, became a big hit. Big hit. And all the people involved in the movie, John Carpenter, Deborah Hill, of course, became like these indie darlings, and now we're going to have other opportunities, and other actors got jobs, and I was sort of waiting for like this moment where someone would go, wow, you were great in the movie, whatever. And it didn't come. So here's what I did after Halloween. I did an episode of Charlie's Angels where I play Cheryl Ladd's best friend. I'm a professional golfer, which my husband will tell you when you see me play golf in the show where I had one day of lessons that I'm not a professional golfer. And at some point, Cheryl Ladd and I are walking over a bridge, and the bridge collapses, and she ends up wrestling an alligator. First job, besides Halloween, the second job was Love Boat, where I'm on my honeymoon on the Love Boat, and my parents come on the Love Boat with me, and to make matters worse, Janet Leigh played my mother in the Love Boat. Those are the two jobs that I got after Halloween. And John Carpenter and Deborah Hill, who at that point had become friends of mine, felt that wasn't good, and so they wrote the part in The Fog, which then began to get me more work. So the reason I'm in The Fog is because they wrote the part for me because I was not getting any work after Halloween.
So that was a kindness.
Say again?
That was a kindness.
Oh, it's a kindness and a generosity and a belief, really, a real vote of confidence. Yes, for sure. Mm-hmm. And they put me on the poster. I remember they put me on the poster of The Fog. I'm sorry, my hands are up and I'm looking weird and there's a guy. Anyway, look, it was my second movie and I'm on the poster for the movie. It was a big deal. I know many actors who are like, if they get their little picture on the poster, they're kind of thrilled. So, you know, it's a big picture of me on the poster. Anyway, it was a big deal. It was a big deal. I was 20. It was a big deal.
Who championed you for the part in Trading Places?
So, I will tell you, and you know this, Leonard, sweet Leonard. No, I mean, it's just such a beautiful human being. So, all of my life goes back to Halloween. All of the good things in my life, including my husband, including my family, everything can be traced back to Halloween. And over the course of these 9 hours together, I will explain to you how. In this case, the reason that I met John Landis was because he was directing a short for Universal called Coming Soon, which was a short about 50s horror film trailers. And, you know, those great, crazy 50s trailers with the scary themes. And he needed somebody to narrate it. So who would he call to narrate this documentary, this little short, but the current Scream Queen, which was me. So I get a call, John Landis would like you to, you know, and they paid me, and I showed up at Universal, and we had never met. And, you know, I'm doing my thing, and I had narration and voiceover, and you guys have met me for, you know, 27 minutes. Clearly, I'm this person, but I was 21. And when he was casting Trading Places, he went to the studio and said, I'm going to hire Jamie Curtis to be Ophelia. And let me just say this. This was the female lead in a comedy starring Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd. You may go, woo! But the truth is, I had just made horror films. So you can only imagine the loud chorus of disapproval for that choice. And John Landis is the reason that I'm in Trading Places, and I owe John Landis a great debt of gratitude for putting me in that film, because that flipped the switch, for sure.
But You've had a succession of champions.
Yes, well, John Carpenter, a lot of Johns. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. A lot of Johns. Mm-hmm. Really? 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 What are you, 14? You're all grown-ups. You pay taxes. Oh, my goodness. Yes, I've had a lot of Johns. That's in you. Oy, oy, oy. So, John Carpenter, John Landis, and then because of Trading Places, John Cleese,
which star next?
Wrote the part of Wanda for me in A Fish Called Wanda. Now, I got a phone call from my friend Ian Gordon. Just so you know, I also, in the midst of all this stuff, because ultimately, as you know, I also do commercials for yogurt that makes you poop. And so I started to, by the way, I'm the only Oscar nominee who has ever sold yogurt that makes you shit. I also did some TV presenting, and they hired me to do the Guinness Book of World Records with David Frost, but David Frost did Europe. So David Frost went in a Rolls Royce around, Europe, England, Germany, everything, and to get all the Guinness stories. I went to South America in a canoe, seriously, and, narrated anaconda wrestling. Joke you not. So that was also my TV gig. But the producer of that was a man named Ian Gordon, an Englishman. He called me after we got back from all of that, and he said, John Cleese would like to talk to you. And I had just gotten married to Christopher. Spinal Tap had just come out. I assumed that John would want to talk to Chris. And Ian said, no, John would like to talk to you. And he called me and he said, I've written this movie for you, Michael Palin, Kevin Kline, and myself. And I would like you to come and do it, and it'll be great, and we'll be successful. And he was right.
And so, those are the next 2 clips we're going to watch. Trading Places and A Fish Called Wanda.
Oh, look at you. Look at you.